In a watershed moment for the culture war, Kanye West praised conservative commentator Candace Owens in a tweet, saying, "I love the way Candace Owens thinks."
If you see something that's great, you gotta respect it.
And how did Twitter react? By failing to even spell Owens' name properly and calling her far-right. They're going to call a former left-wing, now centre-right black conservative who is hated by the actual far-right, then all bets are now off. And then the usual blue check marks piled in with their lies and hatred.
Candace Owens is a far-right media personality who got famous by appearing on the conspiracy site InfoWars and calling herself a red pill black, a term popularised on the alt-right men's rights message board that is basically an antonym for woke.
Wrong, idiot. She got famous by communicating a message of actual empowerment for black people. So save us the glib white-splaining, please. Talking of white-splaining, Sean King whined about it too. Yeah, how are you going to accuse Kanye of being an Uncle Tom when you're whiter than Rachel Dolezal?
Blip!
So precisely how does Candace Owens think? Well, she tells black people not to be victims, not to be dependent on welfare, and not to blame society for all their problems.
The truth is that the left wants to strap black people to this idea that they are victims. That's what it comes down to. They do not want black people focused on their futures. They want black people focused on their past. They like black people to be government dependent. They don't like to see black people that are free thinkers and are independent. And I think that's what Kanye West and myself represent to the black community, and that makes them very nervous.
And that correlates exactly with Kanye's new outlook. Remember, Kanye met with Trump to talk about tackling black-on-black violence in Chicago, something that the left and Black Lives Matter supporters refuse to incorporate into their message because it doesn't fit their race-baiting victimhood narrative. Kanye has also exposed how the left fans the flames of hysteria over racism to metaphorically keep black people on the plantation, to keep them docile and easily controlled.
Racism is a dated concept. It's not an actual thing that even means anything. You know, it's something that was used to hold people back in the past, but now there's been so many leaps and breaking of the rules that it's like, it's played out like, you know, like a style from the, 1800s or something. The real true freedom isn't in the words, the true freedom is in the opportunity.
Kanye West represents a massive threat to the left because he has an army of adoring fans and is clearly done with being a puppet for their divisive agenda. After this, he's going to be relentlessly attacked by the establishment like never before. Get ready. The mainstream entertainment industry is so stale, so controlled, so adversarial to originality. It can no longer produce any icons with actual authenticity. Kanye himself has alluded to this on several occasions.
Cause y'all been lied to. Radio lied to you. They can't play what they want to play because they've been paid to play that bullshit over and over and over.
Celebrities with something to say other than vacuous virtue signaling and cliched platitudes are now all but extinct. And that's because any celebrity that uses their platform to speak uncomfortable truths is immediately shunned and attacked by the legacy media. Look what they did to Morrissey after he spoke out against mass immigration and Islamic terrorism. This paucity of authentic, interesting celebrities is why YouTubers like PewDiePie and Candace Owens are the new rock stars.
We the rock stars.
Now obviously most of these new rock stars aren't going to be political, but the ones that are represent a true threat to the status quo, to the dominant culture. Which is why I was right when I said conservatism is the new counterculture and populism is the new punk rock.
Oh, but Kanye had a breakdown. He's gone insane.
Yeah, if you haven't been paying attention, Kanye's had about 10 what they call breakdowns since the mid-2000s. And he always comes back more influential than ever before.
Blip!
That's why they're terrified of him endorsing ideas and people outside of their control. Who's they? I'm talking about the dominant cultural institutions of Hollywood, the entertainment industry, the music industry, and the media. The high priests of pop culture, the gatekeepers of what political and spiritual ideas we're told are acceptable. Now one of their own has gone rogue, and the panic is palpable.
Your Truman Show boat is hitting the wall.
Why do you think Kanye fears for his own life? As Andrew Breitbart said, politics is downstream from culture. You can change political destiny by hijacking culture. In case you haven't noticed, that's what I'm doing. The left is slowly waking up to the fact that they're losing their monopoly on controlling culture. When you've been in control for so many decades, something new inevitably has to emerge to become the new counterculture, especially given that the left no longer pushes to be edgy, daring, or rebellious, and has instead embraced censorship, puritanism, and cultural sterility. The high priests of pop culture are the real racists. They're the ones who indoctrinate young black kids to aspire to be thugs. They're the ones who fetishize and glorify criminality and gangsterism through hip-hop music. Kanye is trying to move black people away from the ghettoization of their minds towards true independence and freedom. Candace Owens is trying to do exactly the same thing. And that's why they resonate with each other. And that's why the left is petrified of them both.
What you're seeing happening today, obviously we have some black people that are just shouting in the back. We have some black people that are sitting in the front quietly, that are chanting USA and having a normal conversation. I love that, because what I say every single time, and you may have seen me on the news, is that what is happening right now in the black community, you're going to hear it in this room first. There is an ideological civil war happening. Black people that are focused on their past and shouting about slavery, and black people that are focused on their futures, okay? That's really what it comes down to, okay? I can guarantee you what you're seeing happening is victim mentality versus victor mentality. And
That's
I promise
great, by
you,
the way.
the
I love
people
that.
here are
Isn't
going
that
to
great?
win.
I love that.
And there's no doubt in my mind. I can tell you right now who is going to be better off when we look 20 years, when we look at the faces in this room. Who is going to be better off are the girls that are sitting right here and across this room, because they don't have your mentality. Victim mentality is not cool. I don't know why people like being oppressed. It's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. I love oppression. We're oppressed. 400 years of slavery, Jim Crow, which, by the way, none of you guys lived through. Your grandparents did, and it's embarrassing that you utilize their history. You utilize their history, and you come in here with more emotion than they ever had when they were living through it. More emotion than they ever had when they were living through it. It's embarrassing. You're not living through anything right now. You're overly privileged Americans.
They're also afraid that Kanye could be president one day. I'm not joking. As Terrence Williams said, both Kanye and Candace are free thinkers. If that triggers you, chances are you're not a free thinker. The left doesn't care about black people. They don't want black people to be business owners, doctors, or scientists. They want them to remain mired in dependency and hopelessness. They want them to continue to vote for their own enslavement. And whether you love or hate Kanye's narcissistic personality,
When someone comes up and says something like, I am a god, everybody says, who does he think he is? I just told you who I thought I was, a god.
the mere threat of him derailing this agenda to any degree, the mere fact that they don't control what comes out of his mouth, is what keeps the high priests of pop culture awake at night.
And this was an extremely visionary move on my part.
Please click the big red button to subscribe. It really helps me when you do that. And click the bell to allow notifications so you never miss a new video.